there's still a possibility, like with anything, that you could screw that up. But I'm still at least excited about it, because if DuckTales is successful, then that means they'll consider, a reboot of Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, of Gummy Bears, of stuff like that, and that's the stuff I want, like, my kids growing up with. And here I am, Mr. Picky. I mean, so that actually leads into the next question we have, which was your absolute... if you had a cartoon, like, you had to watch at its time slot on Saturday morning, Friday morning, whatever it was, what is it and why did you have to watch it?
That's a really good question.
Like, do you have, like, what was your compulsory drug reaction? You had to have this in your system.
It was probably Yu-Gi-Oh!
Really?
Yeah, actually, really.
So I can make like a dozen Yu-Gi-Oh! Jokes today?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to pull out this card, but then I'm going to tell you my entire life story. I was born on January the 15th at 5 p.m. It was raining at that time.
It was, yeah, I liked it better than Pokemon, just because, like, I felt like I could immerse myself into the world by playing the card game with friends outside of watching the TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
And I felt like it was something that I could turn to when I felt like Pokemon was becoming, what's the best way to say it? Too childish. And
yeah, when they basically started establishing a lot of the tropes that are there now that a lot of people have problems with.
Yeah, because, like, I'm not...
Like not having Misty there. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm literally one of those guys. I have no problem admitting that. Misty should never have left. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, this whole romance with what's-her-bucket, Serena, doesn't matter to me, and it's because Ash and Misty forever, baby. Ash and Misty forever.
I mean, I've stopped watching the anime for a very, 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 very long time ago.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I got super bored of Gen 5 and Gen 6 when playing them. Like, my favorite generations, I would have to say, would first be Gen 3 Hoenn, and then Gen 4 Sinnoh. And then I'd go Johto Kanto.
Yeah.
And then...
So you heard it here, Alex. He's a purist. Go ahead and say it in the comments. Just say it, Shadow Blazer. He's a purist, just like I am, apparently.
What does that even mean?
It's one of those jokes that he just makes with me, like, I apparently can't speak. I can't speak of anything past Gen 3 because I haven't played it.
Yeah.
And I've already said that I will play it. So at that point, he's just like, well, then you're a Gen 1 purist. And I'm like, not really. Because Pokemon is just another RPG as far as I'm concerned.
If you do plan on playing like Gen 3, I would definitely do the remakes, because then you get some of the same tropes from Gen 6. And
well, I wish he would have said that before I actually, him and me are getting ready to do, we're doing our dry runs of Gen 3.
Oh, okay.
And it takes forever to do, but we're actually gonna, so people are gonna be happy about this. We're gonna tackle the Gen 1 remakes.
Oh, fun.
In that generation.
Yeah.
And Gen 3. Oh, hi, dude.
Hey.
We're interrupting his monologue.
Yeah. I mean, he's just boring.
You sly dog! You caught me monologuing, didn't you? Every time this guy actually does this monologue, I always think of Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do that, and I'm tackling Gen 3, because, again, it's new territory for me. And then he actually has... You know what, I'm not going to spoil it. Alex, please don't kill me if I say that. He's actually pre-recorded his Gen 1 remake. It's sitting in his hard drive.
Oh, that's way cool.
He's got it ready.
That's way cool.
I guess as far as he's concerned, I'm not moving fast enough. But...
Oh my gosh, Alex.
So we're doing that, but I'm kind of glad you brought up Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, because one of the reasons I got into it, because like the card game was just another thing. People, if you watch the previous episode of Geek News, I brought up that I was a collector at one point, and I actually had we talked about the story of the police officer helping out a kid who got his Pokemon card stolen.
Yeah, that was a super sweet story. I loved that.
Yeah, and I brought up that that actually happened to me too. Like, I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I was just messing around with, and that was a complicated time in my life. So it was like one of those things where if you can find order in something, you just do it.
Yeah,
And the neighborhood kid actually stole my cards, and it's like, well, I'm not going to get those back, and that sucks because that's money that I spent and all that.
Right.
And yeah, so thankfully, the parent actually came back to me and gave the cards back because he knew his kid had done wrong.
Oh,
so,
wow. Good on them.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things where, like, I don't blame the kid. The kid was just going through a difficult time and didn't know how best to go through it. So
yeah, I mean, everybody handles grief differently, and sometimes they handle grief with bad actions, and the best thing that you can do is just help them understand it's okay.
It's really the only thing you can do.
Yeah, it's just, it's okay to grieve, but there's better ways of grieving than stealing.
Yeah, exactly.
At using your story as an example in this scenario. Because that's one of the biggest things that get people so frustrated with me about me not being a drinker is like, after my uncles had killed themselves, they were just like, why don't you just they would always tell me, I'm so shocked that you haven't begun drinking. And I'm like, why should I? And they're like, well, if that had happened to me, I wouldn't want to be sober.
Yeah.
And I was like, I understand that that's your way of grieving, but it's not my way of grieving. Because I would rather feel the raw emotion, and when I'm ready, talk about it with someone who is also grieving and can relate to what's happening to me.
Or can at least, at that point, relate to you. Like, they may not be grieving right there, but they understand.
Yeah. I just, I don't want to hide and mask my problems via alcohol. I just feel that's so dangerous. And I'm a really firm believer that addiction is hereditary. And I've had way too many relatives on my mom's side of the family drink themselves to suicide. And I mean, me being an openly gay man, I'll be honest in saying that I've been suicidal, if not once, but twice in my lifetime. And I just can't do that to myself because I've seen how hard it is when somebody kills himself that you're really, really close to. And it's just so ridiculous on how badly it affects you. And there have been so many people close to me who have committed suicide. Yep. And so I just can't imagine doing something like that and then taking my own life because I was drunk. because I can't handle my problems because I'm drinking them away. I can't do that to myself nor my family. So that's why I avoid alcohol. It's because I don't want to tempt me. If it were to get to that point.
We went into such a light subject as Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we went into alcoholism.
Yeah, I know.
That's where we went, people.
I feel like
that. Go.
I feel that's been a recurring theme throughout this Let's Play of me taking it to really, really, really deep, dark conversation.
Which, guys, I'm not faulting him for it. This is really just he's kind of dictating the conversation at this point. We're asking him questions. And really, I've got to kind of go where his thoughts want to go.
These are just my life experiences. I know I'm only 25 and I still have so much more of my life to live, at least a good 50 to 70 years. But I've had a fair share of hard times and sadness and in the time that I've been alive, in the 25 years that I've walked the planet. Yeah. And I'm a big, firm believer that everybody has a story to tell and everybody's entitled to how they felt. And you shouldn't diminish that at all, in my opinion, because those experiences were difficult for them and they need to be validated so that they feel like they've been heard and that they do matter. So that's just me getting on a deep emotional level. But yeah, I really enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh! Surprisingly enough, I felt like it was one of those shows that, in my opinion, had a lot of story progress and didn't it wasn't like Dragon Ball Z is what I'm saying, where they're pretty much supercharging their muscles for 15 episodes before they punch each other.
No, but at the same time, you can also make the argument that yes, they did have those moments because you had to rebuild the deck or whatever.
Right.
But I'm at least okay with that concept, and at least it had relatable characters, which at that point, I'm nothing against Pokemon, but it was hard to relate to the characters that were coming out at that point because. One of the things I've actually actively said is I have not really liked a female protagonist in Pokemon since Misty, and mainly because I really do think that I'm gonna get such flack for saying this, but but they belittle women because like all of the female characters, none of them have wanted to battle. Okay, none of them have wanted to do Pokemon battles. Instead, they want to do the competitions and all that. That's fine. That's all well and good. But when you repeat the story over and over and over again, it just seems kind of dumb, at least to me. Like,
yeah, that's
true. Are you
true.
telling me out of meeting May and Dawn and that they're all only interested in that concept? And I have seen some debate that the Gen 5 girl wasn't really... She didn't care. She was the daughter of a gym leader, so she didn't care. But it's the rest are just like... They all of them are the competitions, and therefore, oh, well, girls can only do Pokemon if they do the frou-frou stuff. Well, that's bullcrap, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, so can the guys. It's not like the competitions are only excluded to the female trainers.
And actually, it's one of those things that I would point out. And yeah, there would be some guys that would do it. In fact, sometimes they would have guy rivals. But a perfect example that I would cite to a lot of people is like, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't do this. Yes, you have the cute and cuddly character Taya, who's just, go get him team and all that. And I still love Taya. Taya's awesome. But
remember the heart of the cards, guys.
What was that?
Remember the heart of the cards, guys.
Quick, I have to use a permanent marker to paint this mark on your hands.
Which was just like a smiley face.
Yeah, pretty much. But then you had characters like Mai that actually were serious duelists. And, like she had a themed deck just like everybody else did. And it was a Harpy-based deck. In fact, one of my favorite episodes is from the Waking the Dragons arc, where Joey has to take on Evil Mai. Mai, who's basically sold her soul. You know the arc? Or...
It's been such a long time. I don't remember it now.
Yeah, where they had the whole Seal of Orichalcos thing, and
yes, I remember that.
She was recovering from the shell shock of Merrick, and so at that point she looked for power because power was the only thing that made her feel better, and that made sense. It's one of those things that I don't get why a lot of people gave that arc flack, because I could understand where Mai was in that whole thing. But then they also introduced other characters like I can't remember her name, the professor's daughter that was a genius that actually like dueled Yuki as a little girl trying to get his Ties of Friendship card. Oh crap, I can't remember her name, but she's like a genius duelist. Mm-hmm. And so at that point it's like we have these female characters that are actually badass. And granted, yes, we have characters like Dark Magician Girl that are, yes, strictly TNA characters. But I'm okay with it, because for every one of them, you got 2 or 3 that actually look like that's how they would look.
Right.
But the other thing I was also going to point out is, I don't know if you had kind of the same concept, but I loved the design of a lot of the cards, and part of that also is because I grew up with D&D in the household.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them just look like something straight out of D&D.
There are like specifically cards that I really, really wanted so bad just because of their design, not necessarily because I wanted to use them.
Yeah, like they were horrible cards, but you still wanted them.
Yeah. That was that arc that, now that I'm remembering that arc in my head, that was actually one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it because it was just like, I felt like it was, that was the one thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! I felt like with every arc, there was always something new. I mean, obviously, dueling was involved, but it wasn't like the same thing every single beginning of an arc. Whereas with Pokemon, it's literally the same thing.
Well, it's become the same thing from here on. Is like, cause one of the things that my wife had to point out is now they have this ongoing trope of whenever he goes to a new continent, he has to drop every single Pokemon he's ever gathered except for Pikachu. I'm just like, okay, well, I get why you're doing that, but at least be consistent and drop Pikachu on the map. I know that people don't want to see that happen because Pikachu's the trademark character, but if you're going to bring him back, bring back frickin' Charizard. For crying out loud, people love Charizard just as much as they love, insert this starter here. The one that I know a lot of people are bringing up is Greninja, because I guess they did the whole Super Mega Evolution or whatever it was.
Yeah, they call it, that's something they still haven't quite explained, I guess, in the Pokemon universe, where, like, in that region, when a trainer and its Pokemon have developed such a strong bond, then the Pokemon will take on the appearance of his trainer, and pretty much display the same attributes and strength of a Mega Evolved Pokemon. And so they, so in the anime, this hasn't been introduced into games yet at all, but in the anime, they introduced.
Yes, I failed the secret mission. People would get over it.
They introduced Ash Greninja, where pretty much his Greninja takes on his appearance, and somehow they're linked together, like via their souls, and his power and Greninja's strength becomes that of a Mega Evolved Pokemon. And so it's a new idea that's been introduced, like I said, only in the anime, and hasn't so far been
that's actually
very well.
That's one of the supposed new ideas that's going to be coming in Gen 7 is
through
a lot of people
Sun and Moon. You know, I would really actually like to see that happen too. But I mean, even if that were to be introduced to the game, still I'm still not entirely sure I want to purchase it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still really iffy about
I'm still
Gen
on the fence
7
on it too. But I mean, I have like 3 other gens to go through before I guess I can make that call.
I've thought about trying to get through Gen 5 again. Because again, I got halfway through it and got super bored. But every time I think about it, I'm just like, I would rather replay Ruby/Sapphire or Diamond/Pearl, to be completely honest. Because those are my favorite gens. I don't care about 5 or 6. I mean, the only thing I really liked from Gen 6 was Mega Evolution. So if I were to replay Gen 3 again, it would probably just be Alpha Sapphire, so I could Mega Evolve Pokemon.
Oh yeah, so you're talking Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was like the one thing that I thought was really cool, which got me to play Pokemon X. But again, I still just got really bored because I was like, I don't really care to finish this. Like, I gotta Mega Evolve my Pokemon, yay! I've like accomplished what I wanted to do. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas with Gen 3, it was just more like, I love the story, I love the gyms, I love the characters, I love the Gen 3 Pokemon.
Wait, you can have story in a Pokemon game? Yes, they've all had story, people. It just, like, I love the people who make the argument that Pokemon isn't a game you play for story. It's a game you play to catch them all, kind of thing. And that's not the case,
No,
people.
it's not.
Even Gen 1 and Gen 2 had a story. It was just very simplistic. You go get the gym badges, and you then fight the Elite Four.
And, like,
guys,
you have to fight Team Rocket along the way, but...
Again, that's why I keep on telling people that Pokemon is, like, the games are a gateway drug into RPGs, because they're introducing a very simplistic story to you. One that's not hard to it's not complicated, it's not hard to understand at all. And at that point, they're more interested in introducing the mechanics of an RPG to get you interested in that.
I was just about to say that.
So I love the people that come out to me and say, oh, well, as a Final Fantasy fan, you should hate Pokemon. Why would I hate Pokemon? If any reason, Pokemon has ensured Final Fantasy's survival in this current era, because there's whole new generations of kids that are now getting used to playing JRPGs. So why would I hate Pokemon? Pokemon is doing what Dragon Warrior in its day did. And frankly, what Square Enix failed to do in that heyday with Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Even though I like it. I'm biased, and I know that.
I think that's a good comparison you made there, so...
But, so... I think we've hashed out plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh! Here.
Yeah.
We've hashed this out, but we've also kind of run out of time. We need to take a quick break. When we get back, we will continue this conversation while making our way up the Temenenegru.
Yay!
All right, welcome back, everybody, to yet more Devil May Cry 3 with Adam and Brinton.
Woo woo!
On Gaming with the Geeks.
Woo
so,
woo!
Let's go ahead and get things going. And obviously, we have plenty of questions to get to for dear Brinton.
Lovely. Let's. I want to answer another one.
Well, we'll do that as soon as we handle this whole.
Oh my gosh!
Poor lady.
Okay, for a second, I thought her knees were her ass, and I was like, whoa, whoa!
I know, right?
No, you stand back.
Oh man, that was a really bad angle for my eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, you can't do it. Don't you
Trust me when I say you weren't the only one that did it.
He doesn't get it. It's
I'm not sure if that questions my sexuality or not, but
But you know what? And just to kind of add to this conversation, no, Brinton, you don't get it. They're both walking bags of emo.
Give him. My soul is screaming, demanding me to kill him.
Oh,
whoa, that was dramatic.
Motivation to keep me going.
and the Oscar moment goes to not her.
Besides, this is my family.
My soul is screaming, demanding that I kill him. Are you effing kidding me?
But I can't just sit back and watch either. I'm pretty pissed at him too, you know. Now, get out of my way, or there'll be some consequences.
I like how he passes her back her gun, and he's like, oh, okay.
Any demons live in
Well, you know, he's already got two.
even one.
Ebony and Ivory. Sexy.
But now it's time for us to have the battle of the emos like we were hoping.
Wait, are we seriously fighting her?
We have a boss fight with Lady.
What? Oh my gosh. The Divine Library. What a...
Yes.
Her AI is not all that great. She was like walking the
No.
wall there for a second.
No, if in fact in harder difficulties it doesn't really improve. That's one of the things that I like about this fight.
So I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that we kill her.
No.
Okay.
No, but because well you'll find out in a second.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
figured.
So let's actually go into the next question. And
Okay,
that
yeah.
is, so you actually brought up the fact that in a previous episode that you and Alex were in an anime club together.
Yeah.
And so at that point, some people actually wanted you to clarify that. So, like, you guys were in a high school anime club together. What was the purpose of it? And also, like, did you get introduced to new anime you never would have played or never would have watched because of said anime club?
I'm gonna go backwards there. With your question. So was it being introduced to new anime that I would have never watched? Yes. A lot of it thanks to other club members and even Alex himself.
Yeah.
I remember that year for Anime Bonsai, our entire club, we decided which characters we would like be if we were in the fruit, if we were all in the Fruits Basket manga. And we all cosplayed and went as a huge group of Fruit Basket characters. And
All right, now I have to know who are you cosplaying as?
Hattori, if that's his name, it's the guy who turns into the seahorse.
Okay, yeah, that's appropriate for you.
Yeah, that's what everybody thought too. And so everybody at the convention that year, even like a bunch of professional photographers who came to like take pictures for all the newspapers, they were just like, wow, this is really, really incredible. Like nobody's done this in a very, very long time. So I felt pretty special because I was the only person who had cosplayed that specific character. And it was a lot of fun. It was like really exposing myself and really delving deep into anime and how much I do enjoy it.
Nice. I'm gonna cut you off just because this cutscene actually is kind of nice.
Yeah, I figured.
So, no, she's run out of ammo.
I mean, she's not like cornered at all,
She's
so she
totally
could run.
not Resident Evil material. She
Oh,
wasted all of her ammo.
This is really sexy. Like I can't like.
Why do you care so much?
Yes. Why do you care so
Whole
much?
business started with my father, sealing the entrance between the two worlds.
Okay.
And now, my brother's trying to break that spell and turn everything into Demonville.
Oh.
Population 10. I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
At first, I didn't give a damn.
No, I bet you did it.
I know what's important now.
Oh, of course,
Oh.
it's because of the girl.
Tender feelings.
The girl that shot him in the head
Yep.
twice,
And in the gut.
and in the leg,
And in all the other places.
and probably in the balls.
That probably hurt. Or maybe he didn't feel it.
I'll make things right for you.
Oh, really?
My soul is telling me to do.
Yours isn't screaming out,
Demanding.
that you kill him?
How much
Well,
is
he
it?
did technically kill Virgil a couple of times.
You can give me your name.
Dante.
I love it. She refused to give her name to him.
But he's just all like, yeah, here's my name, see ya,
No,
bitch.
then she wants his name.
Oh, yeah, I don't get that.
And of course, we actually will get that weapon if we want to use it as a gun.
Oh, really?
But since I love Ebony and Ivory, it probably won't happen.
That's completely fine. You don't even use the shotgun you picked up in, like, the very first video.
We actually got another weapon, the Artemis, which is like a demon spike launcher kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you play, like, super hard modes and stuff like that, you want to utilize this stuff, because, like, shotgun will knock things to the ground and all that, but I love Ebony and Ivory, and so while I'm playing cinematic mode, I might as well enjoy what I play.
Yeah, might as well. You're absolutely right.
I also love the fact that she has this leg bandage, not a single stain of blood on it, at all.